Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, July 15, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be having a time for change call this Wednesday night at around 9:15 or so p.m. Eastern. And we're going to discuss how the new Earth is going to be ushered in and the impact on the civilization of the planet and what that entails. Mastering our mind is imperative. We will stay in the muck and mire lifetime after lifetime in the event we do not master the mind, which means mastering our thoughts. And how does that work? Well, you can see thoughts in a way. I don't mean like writing on the wall, but you can feel them and see them. And it's up to you to determine which ones you will give energy to. That's it. It's pretty simple. It's simple in that way, in that respect. But when you give that attention, you focus on that in the moment, in the now, it's there to teach us, okay? Now, most of us will just go along with it for a lifetime after lifetime because we believe that we aren't aware, or we don't know that we are not it. But when you can step outside of it, leave it alone, then you can see how it operates. What's its insecurity? What are its motivations? And by doing this, you begin to understand what it is about and what its purpose is. It's not a negative. The purpose is for you to discover it, then to have it revealed to you to the fact that, okay, I know that this is not my master, and that I'm learning how to master it. And you master it through the heart-mind. It's like, what do I use to master it? You use the heart-mind. That's how you leave it alone. You move into the heart-mind to leave the ego-mind alone. And this way you can take a look at it. You can watch it as it operates. Not judgment, but watching. Experience how it operates. The thoughts that it generates, that it brings in, which are mostly other people's thoughts. And all the mind chatter, 60,000 thoughts plus repeating themselves every day. Then you begin to understand is that when you do have these come in, and there isn't any timing with it. It's not like they're predisposed. It's like, okay, so you get an ego mind thought come in. You're able to identify it, and you know that it is an ego mind thought. And this allows you, or gives you the awareness to dispel it and say that you just don't care to engage it. So it just goes on by. It disappears. Most of us will hang on to these thoughts because they're very tricky, because you know this, that they feel so like your thoughts. That's what they feel like. And so you embrace it, you give it energy, you move it into form, create it into reality, and experience it. So when you start identifying it, then you pick and choose that you just don't care to engage in that thought. You're not going to give it any power, any energy, and it's just going to float by. As we progress on our comprehension of this, you become more astute at it. And it's just to say it's always heart-mind. It's not, you're not messing with the ego mind when you're doing this. And as you do this, you begin to learn and understand more about it. What's its purpose? Why is it? Why do we inherit it with these bodies? It's the opposite. Actually, the ego mind is the opposite of our natural state of being. Isn't that something? It's the opposite of our natural state of being. Worry, stress, and fear are not our natural state of being. It is an experience, yes, in the material physical world. But it's just an experience. It's not how we truly are. And then we begin to recognize this and understand it. This allows us, see, it's kind of like going up a flight of stairs, each step. And we understand that part of it, so we do more of it. The ego mind is insecure, okay? Your natural state is the opposite of insecure. Secure, content, trusting of oneself, faithful of oneself, confidence of oneself. In other words, you're at peace. When you leave yesterday and tomorrow alone, which is leaving the ego mind alone, and you practice being in the now, you're at peace. You move more and more into peace, tranquility, contentment, bliss, joy, which is like this big ocean that you are. And the big oceans, all the big oceans that we are drops of humongous oceans. And see, our ego mind perceives us as small, minute, insignificant from the standpoint of the greater scale of things. How can, one would say, how can I be so powerful when I am so small compared to this universe? And again, that's a perception of material physical world and the programming that we've been given. And I've used those examples before and analogies of why that is just not true. Each of us have the power to create a universe. That's mind-boggling, isn't it? The reason it's mind-boggling is because the mind is too small to even comprehend that. Each one of us can stop a storm in its tracks on this planet. But yet, do we believe that with ourselves? Ego mind's going to convince you every single day. It's going to convince you most of the time. Oh, that's silly. Why do that? It's a waste of time. You don't have that kind of power. And actually you do. You intend things. But as we've talked about in these meditations numerous times, there are key elements for you, for every one of us, to master. Well, it didn't work for me because you haven't done this. You're not going to jump the gun or put the cart before the horses. That's just a total waste of time. You're going to take step by step of comprehension as far as how you're able to do this. And those are the three elements of confidence, trust, and faith in yourself, 100%, and this universe. Crucial. And you realize that anything is possible, genuinely, not superficially. And then you begin to realize is that you're the one that moves this energy. You configure it. Like I've said, you look in a corner, and particles appear. You turn away, particles disappear. That's the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things we can do now. It's not something that you go to a prestigious university and learn. You're not going to learn squat there. It's about your self-discovery of who and what you are. This whole process is. It's about reaching your highest high as the pure consciousness and the God within you is. The soul, the God, it's all one. You ever notice how the separation works on this planet? You know, you've got the soul, you've got the Father, you've got the Son, you've got the Holy Spirit in different religions. Right? When in actuality, it's all one. There's no separation. This is why so many people get confused. And you begin to learn this for you, because it's all about you. And I'm talking about heart mind, not ego mind. It's all about you. So you begin to discover these depths, and you learn that the mind, the ego, gets stirred up and thinks it's in control of this universe no matter what happens or doesn't happen in life. And it starts demanding for things to be different than they are. Forgets to ask with kindness or what it wants, and becomes impatient, aggressive, and insensitive. Does that sound familiar to any of us? See, now these qualities are how we know that the ego is in the driver's seat. When we experience what I just shared with you, then you say to yourself, hold it a second here. The ego's in the driver's seat, and I don't care to have that. Running the show and pretending that it is in charge, and it is not in charge. The ego does not want to realize. Okay, so I'm back on here. We had a strange, it was like, I tried every phone to get back on and it wouldn't even ring. So it was some kind of a dampening that didn't allow me or others to get back on. And some of you just stayed, which was smart, because if you would have hung up and tried to get back in, you couldn't. But evidently now it's cleared up. So, as I was saying, in the quiet time of this meditation, to comprehend the fact that you, through the heart mind, in the now, are the God. You are the kingdom of God. You are the heaven. You are a omnipotently powerful, supreme being that never dies, that's housed in that body. You are part of the collective consciousness, which is all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Collectively, which means unified together, we create universes, we create galaxies, we create all of this. We create it all. And the interesting thing is that the majority of us don't know that. And the ones that do discover it are fearful of it, because they don't understand it, because, like I said, the ego mind is too small to comprehend it. How do we comprehend it? Through the gods that we are. Can the heart-mind comprehend it? To a certain extent, but not totally. This means that we go outside by going within to the gods that we are. That's why we're all here, to discover that. And along the way, once we discover it, then we can enjoy the heck out of it. So you begin to realize that you create the pain, the suffering. We all do. We're not, we're all one. We create the pain and suffering for ourselves in these lives. Every one of us do. Is it a negative? No, it's a great discovery. It's a phenomenal discovery to be even able to say that. We have the ability, it's always been there, it's what we are, it's who we are, and we create. Doesn't it make sense? And so we make this illusion to kind of, we kind of believe that we're separate, right? We this illusion. Not a tree across the street separate from me. All of this is separate. You know, rather than saying that's the God that I am, that sunset, we say that's a beautiful sunset. So we miss the target. We miss the mark by saying it's a beautiful sunset, not knowing or understanding that that's us. The collective consciousness. We're the sunsets. We're the sunrises. We're the mountain ranges. We're the beaches. We're the oceans. We're all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. And we're learning. We're on this planet, this particular planet, for so many lifetimes, to discover all this while we're in the body. Now, if we don't, we do it again, and 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 we do it again until we get it, until we discover it. One might ask, well, what happens when we, okay, so that we've discovered all this, and we're enjoying our lives, what's next? What do we do then? We continue to create. We come up with other avenues, other creations. It's constant. Okay? There would not be universes, even this holographic generated universe. There wouldn't be fluid universes. There wouldn't be, what do you call it? You know, like negative films, like when you take pictures of the camera, the old-fashioned cameras, and then you would develop it, and you would have the negatives, the reverse field, where everybody looked white and the backgrounds were black. There are reverse field universes. I mean, you name it, and there are universes that are it. And who does all this? All of us throughout all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, forever. The collective consciousness of the One. In all things. And everywhere. The very air we breathe is part of the collective consciousness. The water that we drink. All of it. We create it cooperatively, co-creation, all of us together, cooperating as one. Are the universes being birthed right now? Absolutely. Are there universes that are now ending? Yes. So is the universe a collective consciousness? Part of the collective consciousness. You see, once we discover 100% confidence, faith, and trust in ourselves and in this universe, then there's nothing to stop us except ourselves. We go on and on and on and on and on. We're actually the source of creation. So the source of creation does what? Creates more. Now, how do we expand that? We learn. See, we're in physical form and we learn about it. And we expand. Why do you think we have all these lifetimes, experiences, in physical material form? To discover things. The broader our understanding as a collective, the more we can create. Now, the more compressed or obstructed, the less we create. Because we don't have the breadth of it, the whole scope of it, because of our programming and stuff on this planet. It's kind of compartmentalized. We don't have a full view because of how we've been educated. And I believe everybody that listens to these meditations are black sheep. It's a term. It's nothing we look at black sheep as a negative. Actually, it's a positive. Those are those who wish to not follow the rat race. They're not into it. It's nothing against anybody else. It's just that we're not into the rat race. We used to be, obviously, all of us. Some of us come out of it and we start to realize that this isn't for me, and that's okay. I mean, I'm out to discover who and what I am so I can comprehend the life and so that I can enjoy the life. Now, I'm deeply grateful for all of the worry, stress, and fears I've experienced lifetime after lifetime. But it's time for me to move on and see the other side of the fence and experience it. Joy, the bliss of exactly what I am and how I was created. Who created the collective consciousness? All that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It's a focus, right? You look in empty space and particles appear. You look away, the particles disappear. Do you think it's any different with a universe? No. You look in openness of space, vast space, nothing there, just a void. So what do? As long as you continue to focus as a collective consciousness, you create planets, planetary systems through organic processes, which is all energy, and planetary systems form, and star systems. You're looking all the things in the universes are formed by the collective consciousness. And then does the universe become okay? So to give you the breadth of this, the scope, the total scope, the universe is a cell of the one, just like we are a cell of the one. Okay? So how many cells do we have in these bodies? Trillions. How many universes are there? Trillions and beyond. It's never ending. And in some instances, you could have 100,000 universes all contained within a sac. And then it goes on beyond there. It's for us to decide to eliminate the actual obstacles that have been put there in front of us, so that we have finally discovered we have no limitations. We never did as gods. Now, why would we have limitations in the body? I'll join you in a meditation. I'll return to close us out. easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, focused on the breath rising, falling. The mind is like a robot. It functions on automatic, basically feeding itself the same 60,000 thoughts that it was thinking yesterday. Funny thing is that the mind does not know that it is robotic. It doesn't want to believe that it is automated, mechanical, conditioned, and highly unconscious of its programming. It would like to believe it is free. Yet the mind works so hard, thinking all day long and all night long, and it doesn't know how to stop thinking. It continues to chomp new thoughts, often repeating the same desires and dreams, and looping around the same old belief systems. It does this because it thinks it will find what it's looking for. How is this freedom? The mind is unaware and does not know how to stop itself from thinking. I invite you to find your freedom from the mind today. Now is your chance to step out of the habitual mind habit and discover a new life free from overthinking. Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night and following morning. We will return here Tuesday, July 16, 2024. Then after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening outside of you or within you. Open your heart. Let the magic flow in.